Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer welcomes you to our biggest clearance sale of the year, the Happy Honda Days sales event. Get year-end clearance pricing on over 900 new Hondas, plus a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Honda. Save thousands on your new Honda right here at Team Honda.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Cantea, your Italian dining will change forever.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
And welcome to our Thursday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. So grateful that you stuck around after the exiles, Bill Profita and my dear friend Kevin Gallagher. And for those of you that are just tuning in, hopefully you'll catch their replay tonight and join us in subsequent days. If you were with Bill and Kev earlier, you know, and I'd like to add certainly my condolences to the family of a dear friend, Pastor Lee T. Wesley, pastor of Community Bible Baptist Church in North Baton Rouge, and also pastor of Plymouth Rock Baptist Church in Plaquemine, Louisiana. Lee T. Wesley, one of the founding members of Together Baton Rouge, and ironically, I first met Lee as a state representative, and for those of you that know him, you know how long ago that actually was. A life well spent, as we are fond of saying in the Black Baptist Church, serving Louisiana and Baton Rouge as a legislator, serving the faith-based community as a pastor of 2 churches, and also showing his civic pride and his love for his fellow man as a founding member of Together Baton Rouge. It is truly a loss of one of our own. And as is the case so many times with quote, high-profile individuals, the good news out of all of this is that he leaves a legacy that so very many people will treasure, and a legacy that hopefully a lot of young people that came in contact throughout the life of Lee T. Wesley will be inspired to follow. Gone but not forgotten, at the age of 76 years young, our friend, Pastor, State Representative Lee T. Wesley. God rest, my friend. If you were with Bill and Kev earlier, you know that it may well be going on as we speak. Attorney General Landry going to court seeking to force Governor John Bel Edwards to acquiesce on the stringency of the COVID-19 rules and regs that our state has been under. It is anybody's guess. Most of us feel the AG has an uphill battle on his hands, but it is 2020, and God knows anything can happen for the next, I don't know, month and a half or so before 2020 runs its course. Ironically, this may all, at some point, speaking of the near future, become a moot point. I say that because earlier this week, in anticipation of his lead holding up, Joe Biden formed a 12-member coronavirus advisory board. One of the members, that board, by the way, was formed on Monday. One of the members of that 12-member panel, Dr. Michael Osterholm, after being appointed on Monday, conducted an interview on Wednesday on CNBC. He floated the idea of a national lockdown. Quote, "We could pay for a package right now to cover all of the wages, lost wages for individual workers, for losses to small companies, losses to medium-sized companies, or city, state, and county governments. We could do all that. If we did that, then we could lock down for 4 to 6 weeks." Back in August, Dr. Osterholm said the problem with the lockdowns that we had earlier was that they didn't go far enough. Quote, "The problem with the March to May lockdown was that it was not uniformly stringent enough across the country." He went on to say, quote, "To be effective, the lockdown has to be as comprehensive and strict as possible." If you think back to the presidential debates, the question was posed to Joe Biden, would you be willing to lock the country down again? And his response was, if the scientist told me that's what we should do, quote, "I would listen to the scientist." With this board being formed on Monday, one of the members coming out in an interview on Wednesday saying we need a lockdown 4 to 6 weeks and it needs to be more stringent, strict than it was before. I would not be surprised in the least if sometime in early January, after the inauguration, if that in fact so happens, that once again America finds itself not only locked down, but strictly enforced. Just when cities and states across the nation start relaxing the rules, trying to return to some semblance of normalcy, there is the possibility that the entire country may be locked down again. So I've got to ask, and I'd love your opinion on this. Will America stand for a 6-week strictly enforced lockdown? Or would there be a revolt? If your answer is yes, America would willingly go along with the 6-week strictly enforced lockdown. What does that say about us? What has happened in the land of the free and the home of the brave, where we so willingly now acquiesce to institutions that, by the way, have approval ratings in single digits? Walk up today to 1,000 random Americans and ask them, do you trust the government? 900 plus will tell you no. Walk up to 1,000 random Americans today and ask, what kind of job do you think Congress is doing? After they finish laughing hysterically, they'll tell you a lousy one. Walk up today to 1,000 random Americans and ask them, do you think we've been told the truth and nothing but the truth about COVID-19? I think we already know what that answer is going to be. Have we lost our will to fight in America? Have we lost our true appreciation for freedom and liberty in this country? If your answer is yes, maybe, probably, possibly, any of the above, what does that say about us, and what does this bode for the future of our country? You know, if you were to have posed the question to me any time before the last 12 months, if I thought Americans would so easily roll over and play dead, and you know, even the quote powers that be have got to be astounded at the ease in which we rolled over and played dead. In literally a matter of weeks, we let people decide for us who can work, who cannot work, where you can shop, where you can't shop, what you must wear when you go out in public, and now what you must wear when you celebrate Thanksgiving. In America today, are there more people or more sheeple? I hear y'all. Bah. I can hear you through the phone. Bah. What does your gut tell you? Time for you to talk. 225-831-1029 will get you aboard. 831-1029. Will America go willingly for a 6-week strictly enforced lockdown? And if the answer is yeah, probably, more than likely, should that say anything to us as Americans? Let me get this first break of the hour out of the way. It's amazing what people are willing to do, and maybe more important, what they are willing to forego if you can just scare them bad enough. A little something to think about. First break, we'll get it out of the way and talk more next on the Clarence Bugg Show. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
I've seen a lot of things during my life, more bad things than good. I've lived in a lot of places, but never a home. I don't think anybody cares about me anymore. And now I'm tired. Signed, Brian, age 11.
Abused and neglected children in East Baton Rouge Parish are in dire need of CASA volunteers. Please call 379-8598 today. Change a life of hurt into a life of hope.
Get 0.9% financing for 60 months on every new 21 Mazda, plus 90 days deferred payments during the season of inspiration at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
By all standards, he is a champion for consumers. Because of Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta, our utility rates are 35% less than the national average, the lowest in all of America. He saved ratepayers over $8 billion. Commissioner Scrametta brought us more reliable power plants and energy-efficient solar fields. Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta. Keep the commissioner who keeps our rates low.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Coronavirus, COVID-19, pandemic, all of the above, has been so fluid a situation. It's been tough for a lot of people to keep up with everything. Again, one of those situations where if you get people scared enough, there isn't anything that they won't do. Benjamin Franklin famously said, "Those willing to give up," and you know the rest. Oh, I missed my chance, Marty. You know the thing. The thing. You know the thing. It was never more true than it is today. I told you in the last break that Dr. Osterholm, one of the 12 members appointed to Joe Biden's coronavirus task force on Monday, said on Wednesday that if we really want to get this thing under control, we need a more stringently enforced national lockdown. We can manage to pay everybody's wages. We can take care of the losses for small and medium businesses, and we can pump money into the local, the state, parish, and county governments. Meanwhile, the guy that many have nicknamed Dr. Doom, Dr. Anthony Fauci, yesterday came out with almost a complete reversal of his prognostication for COVID-19 since Pfizer announced a, quote, 90% effective vaccine. Dr. Fauci now says that the coronavirus, quote, is not going to be a pandemic much longer, thanks to the vaccines. Quote, certainly it's not going to be a pandemic for a lot longer, because I believe the vaccines are going to turn that around. What is puzzling for many people that have watched closely this entire event is, contrary to prior statements, all of a sudden now we get competing entities, many of whom before were in complete lockstep agreement. I got to tell you, guys and girls, I don't know if America is going to stand for a 6-week strictly enforced lockdown. Now, I understand full well, based on past experience, the old BPE factor, I understand full well that there are people in this country that are scared enough at this point to do just about anything. But I also understand full well there are a lot of other folks that are at the point now of saying, you know what, enough is enough. I'm grown. I can take care of myself. Give me the guidelines, get out of my way, and let me live my life. When you start talking about a 6-week strictly enforced lockdown, to do that would require a whole lot more resources than you have at your disposal right now. Not talking about monetary, mind you, because we all know our federal government has forsaken the gold standard for as long as we can remember. There was a time in this country where you could only print money if you had the gold to back it up. You can't just go and print money willy-nilly. You have to have in reserve, Fort Knox, the same amount of gold to ensure the value of this paper that you're printing. The federal government a long time ago said, you know what, we don't need no stinking gold, we can just print money and hand it out to people. That's not the resources I'm talking about. I'm talking about how are you going to enforce a 6-week strictly enforced national lockdown. For example, all these Americans that say, you know what, enough's enough. I'm going to work. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do the other. It would take substantially more law enforcement than any city, county, parish, or state has at its disposal right now to enforce that. So are we talking bringing in the military now to enforce a national lockdown? What are you going to do with all these people? We already witnessed at the height of all of this, governments letting folks out of jail because we don't want them to get the corona. We're going to let them out. So how do you enforce something of this magnitude? Now, the more I think about it, and this is maybe as sad a commentary as you will ever hear. There's a lot of us that would go along with this willingly. You know why? Well, wait a minute. You mean I can stay home and the government gonna pay me to stay there? Oh, not just yeah, oh hell yeah. Why wouldn't I? It runs 180 degrees counter to what this country is supposed to be all about. You know, it wasn't that long ago where we might be no longer at the top as far as educational attainment is concerned. We may no longer be at the top as far as our gross domestic product is concerned. We may no longer be at the top of trust in government. But there's one thing you cannot question about us as Americans, and that's our work ethic. There was a time where, if nothing else, you could count on Americans to have the best work ethic on the planet. I guess there's no easier way to change that than to scare the bejesus out of people and give them free money at the same time. Of course, now, problem is that money's not free. And if, for the sake of the conversation, let's say Dr. Osterholm has his way and this happens, okay? Well, we can print enough money to pay for lost wages, losses to small businesses, losses to medium businesses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What happens when we've got to pay that money back? You want to find out? Take your credit card today and go max it out. And when they call you with that unidentified number and say, Mr. Marty, about that credit card bill you ran up, try telling them, oh, that's COVID-19, bro. See what response you'll get.
That wasn't me.
I wasn't there. That wasn't none of me. That must have been my cousin. That wasn't none of me. Who's that on one?
We got James, Baton Rouge.
James in Baton Rouge, how are you, young man?
Oh, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm still of the opinion it's a great day to be an American, my friend.
Oh yeah, we all know that.
Yeah, yeah. At least for the time being. So, will America go for a 6-week, strictly enforced national lockdown, James?
I don't think so. As far as paying for everything, he hasn't said nothing about paying for people in Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
And we're out there hurting just as bad as everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially somebody that dropped what I was making to Social Security.
And also, I was wondering about the number of people that they say have died from from the virus.
Right.
If someone just had a heart condition and was struggling with medicine or any other kind of medical condition, and they passed away, they don't say that, they haven't investigated to see if they actually died from the disease that they had before.
Right.
And so they're labeling that as part of the pandemic, death. And I was just wondering, how accurate can they get that? Because you hear that all the time.
All the time. Colleen, thank you. James, stay safe, my friend. There is a distinct difference between dying with COVID-19 and dying from COVID-19. There's a huge difference. And sadly, we may never know the true numbers, but it's a tool. Have you noticed something here recently? All we hear now is about the number of new cases. Now, it's one thing to say, last week in America, we had 1 million new cases. But keep in mind, there's a 99+% survivability rate. Of those 1 million cases, over 99% of them will recover. Of that 1 million cases, not all of them are going to even show symptoms. It is only announcing the presence of something. And yet, the media has us at a point now where, oh my God, it's 1 million new cases. And we conveniently forget, either willingly or out of ignorance, wait a minute, 1 million more people got it, but over 99% of them are going to survive. Most of them will never show any symptoms. What are we doing here? Again, if you can scare people bad enough, they'll do anything you want, including, apparently, a strictly enforced 6-week national lockdown. That's going to be interesting to watch. I'm late on the break. Let me get it out of the way. We'll talk more next on the Clarence Bugg Show. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Jaguar Nation, we need your help in masking up Louisiana.
Masks help us slow the spread of COVID-19.
During this time, we must continue to wear a mask, wash our hands, and practice social distancing.
It's important that we continue to abide by the CDC's guidelines to stop the spread.
Jaguar Nation, we challenge you to mask up. Go Jags!
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
At Team Toyota, Toyotathon is underway. It's your chance to save during our biggest sale of the year. Get our lowest prices and our lowest payments on every new Toyota. Plus, get a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Toyota. Right now at Team Toyota.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, for a guy who is so bullish on America, for a guy who has spent his entire professional life believing in and promoting America, being human, every now and then, even I question whether America's glass is half full or half empty. As someone who has followed politics for 40 years now, going on my 41st year, I've watched and scrutinized the ebb and flow of politics and how it affects the American public. I don't know if I can remember, short of maybe the most tumultuous years of the Vietnam era, having this many institutions in America being legitimately questioned. At one point, we all embraced, to whatever degree, the old hippie philosophy: don't trust anybody over 30 because they're gonna lie to you. Y'all remember those days, I'm sure. Young people, y'all weren't around then. Just take my word for this one. That was the big deal. Don't trust anybody over 30. And as all-encompassing as that statement was, even at that time, there were institutions that we still had faith in. Public education, federal government, well, excluding their involvement in Vietnam, the media, and so on and so forth. Even with our insecurities about other things going on in the country, we were still of the opinion, no matter what, there are still some institutions that maintain their credibility. Some of those institutions involved polling. And a number of these organizations have been around for quite some time. Rasmussen is one. Gallup is another. The Pew Research Center is another. They've been around forever. And in recent memory, after watching their performances, I've become of the opinion that I trust the American people more than I do anything else. I trust the American people more than government. I trust the American people a whole lot more than the politicians. I trust the American people a whole lot more than the political parties. That being said, speaking of polling, as is the case with so many things these days, everybody has a poll, okay? A lot of them will simply partner with a polling organization to conduct their own poll. For example, Just the News, conservative-leaning website, recently partnered with Rasmussen to conduct a poll. This poll showed less than half of Americans believe Joe Biden won the election fairly. Now, as you might imagine, you already know this, it was strictly along party lines. For example, 77% of Republicans that were polled believed Donald Trump won. 12% of Republicans thought Joe Biden won it fairly. 11% said, I'm not sure who won or if it was fair. On the Democrat side, 87% of Democrats believe Joe Biden won fairly. 6% believe Donald Trump won. 7% of Democrats say they have no idea who won. Among independents, a third of independent voters said they're not sure who won. Every now and then, there are things that happen in our country below the radar, and they speak to us. Many of us don't ever hear them because we are too busy in our pursuit of the American dream. Many of us never hear these things when they speak to us because we limit our gathering of news and facts only to certain media outlets. Many of us never hear these things when they speak to us because they don't match up with our political leanings. But they speak to us nonetheless. This is telling us something, y'all. When the legislative branch of the federal government, Congress, has an approval rating in single digits, when America's standing in the industrialized world, as far as educational attainment is concerned, is barely clinging to a top 10 ranking, when less than half of Americans believe the process to elect the leader of the free world was not fair, that speaks volumes to us. The mere fact that we are no longer, apparently, and God, I hope I'm wrong, but apparently the mere fact that we are no longer able to ascertain this for ourselves, to process this for ourselves, or are too lazy to look at this on our own, makes me wonder about the future of this republic. My dear friend and floor producer extraordinaire, Mighty, is fond of saying, Clarence, these are, what's the phrase? Birthing pains? Birth pains. Meaning, our society is going through something that will leave us stronger in the end. It's like a woman giving birth. The process itself is painful, but the result is something more beautiful than anything on the planet. Well, maybe except for God's love for us. The only thing that can begin to compare is the birth of a baby. So Marty's of the opinion, let not your heart be troubled. What we are going through now, all the insecurity, the lack of trust in time-honored institutions, the overreaching efforts of an all-encompassing government, all of this is a part of what we must go through to get where we want to be. I admire him for that perspective. Because I'm one, and you've heard me say this God knows how many times, it's how you choose to look at certain things that make the difference. But as a guy who has watched this for many years, to see the directions that we are leaning in is troubling. And yeah, I understand, just because you lean one way doesn't mean you're going to stay that way. In an ideal world, there is an ebb and a flow. You sway to and fro. And hopefully at some point, either moral compass or just a change in momentum brings you back to the center. We are so far removed from center in this country that unless those of us who love freedom and liberty arrive at a point pretty soon where we say, you know what, enough's enough, and we're going to correct the ship. God, I hate to say this, it may be too late in the very near future. Now you take that for what you will. Well, Clarence, are you advocating this? Are you advocating that? I'm advocating being an American. Now, I have to understand, many of y'all have no idea what that means. Many people watching right now have either forgotten, never learned, or had bred out of them what it means to be an American. I only hope, for the sake of the soul of this country, that we rediscover it, learn it, find it out for ourselves before it's too late. We got an obligation, y'all. We have been the beneficiaries of the greatest system of self-governance in the history of humankind. And I shudder at what we are going to leave for those who follow us. Let me get this final break of today's show out of the way. We'll talk more next on the Clarence Bugg Show. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private health care is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. I got to send a shout out, and I hope I get this right. For those of you that know anything about TV shows, you know that lighting plays a very important part. And where we're set up in our studio, I can see people walk in, but a lot of times it's hard to make out exactly who it is unless, I'm anticipating that person coming by, so I'm kind of on the lookout for them. Segment before last, out of the peripheral vision, I see a guy walk up, and I said, Marty, we got somebody at the door. So I'm in the middle of a segment, and I see the guy hand something to Marty, and he leaves. So Marty says, man, the guy just dropped off something for you. I'm like, is it ticking? No. So, okay, cool, bring it up. I think, I'm not sure, and if I'm wrong, charge it to my head, not to my heart. I think it was Big Joe that dropped this off to me. During my radio show with Guarantee, I want to say maybe 3 years ago, we did a show one day. I forget how we got on the topic, but we were talking about great music and local folks. And I want to say it was, oh man, I'm about to get in trouble. Might have been the official state Wayne. Some members of the App family turned me on to Joe Bonamassa. I said, Clarence, you got to check this guy out. And one of our listeners, very avid listener, ended up dropping off to me a CD and a DVD of Joe Bonamassa's music. And just now, I think it was Big Joe, I'm not sure. Charge it to my head, man, not to my heart. Just dropped off to me the 2-disc copy of A New Day Now, Joe Bonamassa. If you haven't given this guy a listening ear yet, you are living a deprived life. He is a unique character, pours his soul into his music. And I wasn't a fan prior, but I'm definitely one now. And I cannot wait to get home and pop in Joe Bonamassa's A New Day Now. It's a double disc set. Apparently it's new because it has 2020 on the label, so maybe he just released this. And I'm going to give it a listen. I'll give you guys and girls a musician's critique. I'm not really a professional musician, but I did sleep at a Holiday Inn Express recently, and I marched in the Southern University Human Jukebox, so I know a little something about good music. And I already know. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to wait to get home. I'm going to pop that puppy in the CD player in the car, heading home. So if you see this little peanut head guy just rocking out in the car on the way home, yeah, that'll probably be me. That'll probably be me. A New Day Now. How appropriate is that title, right? 2020, a new day now. Joe Bonamassa, love you, brother. Appreciate you much. You know, I guess the good thing about being an American is that when you have doubts about where our country is heading, you have the benefit of drawing upon past experiences. I am one that is firmly of the belief that America does its best work when our backs are against the wall. If you go back through our country's history and look at what many called our darkest days, it was those times when Americans rallied to the cause. It was those times when America showed its true mettle. It was those times when America drew upon the spirit that the founding fathers enabled us with in framing our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. Understanding full well that our appreciation for that has waned, and I will leave to you to decide to whatever degree that is. But I am of the hope that there's still enough of us left around that truly appreciate it, love it, believe in it, and most important, are willing to fight for it, that it won't go by the wayside. When all is said and done, all we have is America. When all is said and done, we have an obligation to ensure that we remain that shining beacon on the hill. When all is said and done, I don't know about you, but I do not want to be the one that has to explain to resulting generations how it was that we collectively allowed this to come to an end on our watch. Now, that being said, my time's up and I gotta go. But I guess this day, maybe more than any other prior, I'll give it to you. America, you're right, we're not perfect. But doggone it, for my money, it's still the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, even if you don't matter, because there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves and each other. See you soon. God bless.